craziest equipment malfunctions in NFL history. The NFL has had some crazy moments over the years, memorable for good and bad reasons. Let's take a trip down to view some of the craziest equipment malfunctions in the NFL. Number 20. Stick helmets. NFL player Tremaine Edmonds had quite the unusual malfunction, as Edmonds was trying to get past the opposing team in a moment that was both confusing and hilarious for the players and the audience alike. His helmet was stuck in a teammate's jersey and came off. The commentators were as incredulous as everybody else. But well after the readjustment and taking the helmet back from his teammate, the linebacker was back in action pretty soon. During play, NFL players Dwight Freeney and Martellus Bennett got their helmets stuck to each other as the clock was on during the game. To get them separated, the game was stopped and both of them had to pause, with Bennett having to carefully take his helmet off, removing Freeney's helmet simultaneously. Number 19. Awkward wardrobe malfunction. During a game in the women's NFL, a game was stopped because the woman player had complained that the opposing player had tried to grab her, which caused a wardrobe malfunction, mentally and physically disturbing her, causing her to lose both focus and the point she almost got. Alison Albert, who had the wardrobe malfunction, demanded a penalty to be given to the opposing team. She was quite adamant about it, arguing with the referee that he's only issuing penalties to us when it's warranted, not even considering to do the same for the opposing team. The referee in return was just confused. Number 18. Cable cam crash. During an NFL match, as the players were in a scuffle, mid-match, one of the cable cams came crashing down onto the field, which resulted in the players visibly flinching, and the commentators taking the mickey out of the players, or their natural reactions, which happened to be rather funny. The cable that's supposed to quickly maneuver range is supposed to be quickly catching onto the movement in the field, but this one was a rather surprising equipment malfunction. Number 17. Hanging out at the goalpost. In a match that was taking place in Anaheim, California, one of the goalposts collapsed during the game, falling over to the left and just hanging off a 90-degree angle rather comically, with the commentators remarking on how this was one of the unusual things they'd seen this year, laughing off the major equipment malfunction that had stopped the game. Number 16. Brian Orakpo's shoe fault. During an NFL game, Brian Orakpo, who was a linebacker for the Tennessee Titans, had his shoe come off mid-play. Orakpo was merely just about to engage in a tackle when his left shoe slipped off his foot, with the sole of the shoe detaching. Later on, the medical team came just to inspect if the leg was okay. Due to this, Brian Orakpo later walked off the field. Number 15. Catching on. In an NFL match, cornerback Cyrus Jones fell over on his face during an intense and very close home run that he almost made. As he was tactfully dodging and making a way for the touchdown, a player from the opposing team caught onto his shirt and propelled him to lose balance, which naturally made him fall. Number 14. The Fury Rivalry. In a Fury face-off between the New York Jets and the New England Patriots during the play, two of the players apparently clashed against each other. And then in the frame, much to everybody's surprise and intrigue, there were some chuckles seen mid-air, in slow-mo, after the players' clash. Since the clash was full-force headbutt, that force of impact caused the helmets to crack and for the exterior to come off flying. By the tone of the commentators, it sure did look like a nasty clash. Number 13. Throwing back to the old times. In a game of the Carolina Panthers versus the Atlanta Falcons, during mid-play, one of the players had a bit of an equipment problem, a little bit of rip on the pants, as the commentator reviewed. The wardrobe malfunction had his pants ripped, and the game momentarily paused, with the player walking off the field to fix this. Number 12. The Diva Malfunction. In a moment of sheer frustration by one of the players after he had fumbled the ball and missed the chance for a potential point, took his helmet off and slammed it on the ground with full force, damaging it. It was later shown on live broadcast that the technical team came and was fixing it mid-play, something that didn't garner positive response from either the audience or the commentary team, as it was taken away from game time. Number 11. Clumsy grips on ground. Offensive lineman Frank Ragnow blew the bottom of his shoe off and slipped onto the ground, with the commentators poking fun at his athletic abilities and his agility on the ground, or rather a lack thereof. Number 10. Fragile face masks. In this next clip, if you look closely, you will see another equipment malfunction. The player, who in this case is Carolina Panthers' Jonathan Stewart, had his helmet's face mask fall off during a tackle mid-play. Later on, the technical team was seen trying to put together the face mask again, or just make the helmet usable again, as the game was on hold. In another rough play with the New England Patriots, where during the fight for the ball, players were injured, ankle twists and hamstring injuries, which funnily enough caused the helmet to come off with a studded shoe upon contact. Number 9. The Headbutt Fiasco. In another match, during a heated scuffle between members of both teams, with them coming into headbutting each other at close proximity, which got the mouth guards on their helmets to tangle up with each other, so they had to be literally separated. At the expense of this rather comical equipment malfunction, most of the people watching the exchange did get a decent set of laughs in, just not the ideal turn in a testosterone showdown. Number 8. The Shoe Entanglement. The NFL seems to never be short of funny equipment malfunctions. In another game, two players got their feet stuck together, either because of Velcro or because of the laces. But according to the commentator's incredulity with them saying they've never seen something like this before, this was a rather rare malfunction. Number 7. Battle-hardened focus. Sometimes, when you're in the zone, equipment malfunctions can even be overlooked, like in the case of Jason Witten, who was a tight end for the Dallas Cowboys. In an effort to secure a touchdown, managing to brawl past a tightly herded defense and a gnarly crash into the opposing player Quentin Michael, who apparently took his helmet off during the split-second clash. Being physically superior at the height of 6 foot 4 inches, he just kept sprinting to get that touchdown. But his attempt was ultimately foiled when he was taken down by a player from the opposing team. Number 6. Helmet Dilemma. In another helmet malfunction, players Tom Nalen and Vince Wilfork got their helmets tangled and stuck together mid-game, and much to the confusion of both players, with them suggesting who should take off the helmet first. Number 5. Throwback to old school. In another throwback to a game where the Baltimore Ravens were up against the New England Patriots, and the game used to be more rough than it is now, because the equipment wasn't as concrete or advanced, and so in a brawl for getting possession of the football, the players collided with each other, leading one of them to crash into the ground, ripping his jersey into 2 pieces. The player then goes off field to get a change of clothes. Number 4. High stakes. In another adrenaline-filled showdown between the Buffalo Bills and the Tennessee Titans, with the crowd going wild, the atmosphere thick with tension and excitement, just as the game was about to reset and start, the commentator points out that one of the players has had an equipment malfunction, with the sole of the shoe missing or either dislocated. However, just as the game was about to start and the players are about to kick the game off, the player just shrugs and continues with the game, starting off in full swing with a long pass to assist getting that point. Number 3. Touchdown Mania. In another NFL match, that same dedication and adrenaline is seen, as the player gets the ball and aims for a touchdown, sliding past the defense, getting his shoe taken off in the process during a tackle from the opposite team. He still makes it for the touchdown, getting his team the point. Number 2. Touchdown Mania Part 2. In another similar instance, one that involved securing a touchdown while running with one shoe, the Arizona Cardinals secured a point against the New Orleans Saints. That too with a splendid sprint, with the commentators praising the player. Number 1. The Super Bowl Power Cut. Another memorable equipment malfunction in NFL history was during the Super Bowl 47. When the power went out. During a match between the Baltimore Ravens and the San Francisco 49ers, the power went out during live broadcast, which had frankly everybody confused. The Superdome had a partial power outage, which disrupted the entire atmosphere of the game and the event, especially after the Baltimore Ravens took a 28-6 lead over the San Francisco 49ers on Jacoby Jones's 108-yard kick return to open the second half. However, very quickly the power was reinstalled and the game was back to being played. These were some of the craziest equipment malfunction highlights in the NFL throughout the years. If you want to see more content like this, please like this video and subscribe to our YouTube channel for more videos like this.